Hello everyone, this is Persephone and today is Valentine's Day, so I decided to make this video because a lot of people need it and I myself needed it desperately a few years ago, but I couldn't really find it anywhere, so here we are. As the title of the video says, you need to stop caring. And I'm going to expand a bit on this, and it's not just about romantic relationships, but it's about abusers as well. It's about people who just harass you or hurt you, or narcissists who did something bad to you, or people who just rejected you, betrayed you, anyone that you are finding yourself obsessing over. I'm saying that because I struggle with that more than 90% of the people I know, and it's very difficult for me to consider a person important in my life or to actually trust the person enough to see them as a serious friend or a serious boyfriend or a serious business partner. So when that happens and the whole thing fails, I actually usually become very obsessed with a person, and that has to do a lot with autism. That if you know about autism and Asperger's syndrome that I'm diagnosed with, people with especially Asperger's syndrome have special interests, that there are things that they can do and hyperfocus and obsess on for amounts of times that it's honestly embarrassing to describe. That if I'm interested in something, I don't care about 90% of the things that neurotypical people care and they annoy me, but the other 10%, I'm going to be this huge stalker fan of yours that knows everything about you or has mastered the subject or knows every little detail and quote your anime and so on, this type of scary person. But I realized that this is a huge double-edged sword, because if you don't know how to direct this or how to control it, it can actually even waste your entire life. And I say this because small like detour from the video, my channel is turning into a dumpster. I'm really not happy with that because I have been uploading for years and years, and I committed at the very beginning that I'm not going to be deleting videos like a lot of YouTubers do. And even if something is embarrassing or even if something is like outdated, I'm not going to delete it. And now I find myself in this situation where I get a message from someone saying this video is amazing, thank you, and I have no idea what they're talking about, or I get a hater saying this video is horrible, I hate you, and I look at the video in the YouTube control panel of my channel and I'm thinking, what are they talking about? Because I've been talking shit for years and I don't know what's going on. So I watched a few of my videos and I'm looking at myself and it's so cringe, like, oh my god, what the hell were you thinking, cringe? So when I used to be obsessed with specific individuals and trying to get over them, I'm not going to mention who they are because they're not worth a mention in 2021 because they are, garbage. I was trying to follow popular advice on how to get over someone, or I was getting hate messages from people that they told me I need to move on from my parents and need to grow up, and it just wasn't working. For example, one popular advice that I was reading and listening a lot is you need to stop stalking. You need to stop stalking their social media, you need to stop reading about them, you need to stop journaling about them, you need to stop mentioning them, and so on. And I realized that this advice actually didn't work for me at all, because if you ask me what was one thing that saved you or got you out of the mess, that would be my stalking. Because not only I'm a stalker, I'm actually having, you could say, a stalker fetish, in a sense of I find those handsome, extremely intelligent stalkers like the guy Joe on the series You very attractive, irresistible, I would say, even. But the problem is that your real stalkers are never like that. They're like unattractive losers. So I don't encourage people to stalk me. And by stalking someone or by finding out information about their personality disorder, I found myself becoming less and less attracted to them or less and less afraid of them. And I'm going to analyze this in like their separate situations. For example, about the specific racist individual that I had the misfortune to encounter, that appeared so intelligent to me and so brave to me and such an activist. After a lot of stalking, I decided to move on because it was just a parasite leeching off of their family and being in a scam marriage. And that would not have been possible. I would not have been able to get over this person if I didn't realize who they really are. And in the case of my parents, especially my mother, who is a turbo narcissist, Finding out about the disorder and obsessively researching the disorder led me to Sam Vaknin and his channel that I consider him like the demigod of narcissism. And I got so many answers that I would not have gotten otherwise. And while I was in this journey, I was getting so much hate and rejection from people who were saying, just go complete no contact and you will get over it. And when I was going no contact, it was just me and my thoughts, and my thoughts were turning into obsessions. So I eventually, every time, went back to researching, which is in fact stalking, but we call it researching when we are on that stage. And eventually, there came a day that I didn't care anymore. And I realized that because, first of all, I met a person who had also been victimized by their parents online, a guy, and it really bothered me how much he was talking about his parents and how much he was like obsessing over their parents. And I'm not saying this to blame the person, he was just in an earlier stage of recovery. And I realized that I couldn't care less, that I don't want to be this type of person that constantly talks about their mother and what they did to them. That if someone asks me, I'm going to answer truthfully. I don't believe that you should hide abuse or you should repress abuse if you can, but I didn't care. So I realized I'm not in the same frequency as someone whose entire existence is orbiting around victimization, which I used to be like that for, oh my god, so many years. In a similar way, someone mentioned the aforementioned small penis abuser, and I realized that I hadn't mentioned them, or even I hadn't even thought about them for days, which was insane for me, that I used to journal about them, I used to obsess over them, and I realized it's because they lost all of their appeal to me. They became just one more sad little man hiding behind his keyboard and saying, oh, I'm so edgy, I retreated from society, which, thanks to Dr. Sam Vaknin, I know now it's a schizoid defense when the narcissism is under mortification. Please look up Sam Vaknin. I cannot recommend this channel enough, and I'm not paid to recommend it. The guy saves lives. And pretty much to explain what I just said is that when a narcissist has a huge failure that he cannot deal with, he becomes this emo edgelord that he's going on communities like antinatalism and other stupid communities, and he thinks he's so cool for becoming a hermit and hiding away from society, which is a very primitive and very 2-year-old defense mechanism, and that made me lose so much attraction. Like, oh my god, so this is what it has all been about, you abusing people over a keyboard to give meaning to your life that you threw away? Yikes. Yeah, not my kind of thing and what I'm searching in a partner. So if you're watching my channel, or if you just found my channel and you found yourself hitting a wall in your recovery and it feels like it's been a year, it's been 2 years, it's been 20 years and you're still not over the person, I'm not a mental health professional. You can just take my advice with a grain of salt, and I always tell people to do their own research and not just take one person's words for it. I would start researching, like in legal ways. I'm not talking about breaking and entering into someone's house to research. Start researching and find more and more and more, and eventually whoever lives rent-free in your brain is going to lose their power. And I try to apply this principle with stalkers. I try to apply it with toxic people. That around a year ago I was so upset by stalkers and creepy people that I almost quit fandom, and now I do it very selectively. And I invested time. I would put podcasts in the background. I bought books to understand the personality of the person who is actually becoming this obsessive sub or this obsessive fan who is actually an abuser or a covert narcissist or a victim. Or I try to understand people who have been abused and they reenact it. And that helped me to the point that now I don't care about a lot of the things, that a lot of the mind games that toxic subs try to do, or switches play. I hate the word switch. Like, for me, there is no such thing as switch, or if it is, there is a unicorn. And 99% of the times when a switch approaches me, is this toxic guy tries to say, oh, you never subbed for anyone before, but you're going to do it for me. Yeah, safe trip back to the basement. So I believe that not caring and being able to turn the care switch on and off is a power that if you can actually master and use, it can give you so much space and energy to transform your life in other areas that they are now being consumed by the abuser, or by the ex who hurt you, or by the person who is stalking you, or by your toxic parent, and so on. And it's a very long-term thing, but I think it's worth investing on that, because at the end of the day, no contact can only get you so far. I believe that it's good to have no contact in terms of not directly communicating with the person, but personally, I don't think that you're going to be set back if you research about them or if you look what they're up to. But for me, many times when you look what they're up to currently, they're faking it. When you dig a bit deeper, you find things that you're thinking like, oh my god, this pathetic person was the one who was terrorizing me or the one who was harassing me, because most people who do that are in fact pathetic. I have yet to meet a truly successful, driven, ambitious, or empathetic person who wastes their time just for a dubious delight or just for a cheap thrill. It's all of the human garbage who engage in those behaviors. I'm going to continue making these videos. I can't make them all the time because there are things that I need to work on before I'm able to talk about them, and I need to hit some kind of breakthrough to talk about them. But if you like them, please share, please comment, and please subscribe.